Good morning. Welcome in. It is Monday, July 20th. We are 90 days out from October 18th. And your DTD2 for the week, you are calling your Ds and your Os, and you are texting your Ps. Calling D and O, texting P. That keeps you moving through your database so you have conversations with everyone to the best of your ability every quarter, right? And that way you're staying in touch per the 36 Connect. 36 Connect would excite you. Would it excite you? Would invite you to make sure you're having at least a conversation with each person in your database every 90 days. So that's really all it is. If you look at this 36 Connect, I think people freak out because it feels like there's all these things that we have to do, but you only are talking to each person in your database once a quarter, only 4 times a year. So, and you could say, well, I want to do it more than that. Well, you can do it more than that, but you don't want to do it less than that. So that's why every quarter we do the DTD2. And this week we're calling our Ds and our Os and texting our Ps. Friendly reminder, it is going to be in an email. It's definitely at the top of our Facebook page. It is right now the banner on our morning news. If you go to the KWCLMhub.com, where all things reside, it is there as well. It's our rally for Shannon. Our dear friend Shannon Whaley has a medical coming up. She's going to be having a procedure coming up, and she's going to be obviously off the bricks for a little bit as she recuperates and gets stronger. And that is coming up, and of course, that is going to take her out of business and obviously affect her in a way in which we feel that we can step in and help. So if you are inclined, there is a Venmo QR code there, or you can actually just go to Venmo and go at KWCLM. At KWCLM is our handle for Venmo. If you want to make a donation for Shannon and show that you care as much as she's cared for us in this community and the way in which she teaches and leads us, I think if you are here at KWCLM, the probability that you have taken a CEU with her, or at the very least took your licensing, your pre-licensing with her, or you've renewed because she's helped you in the waning minutes of your 2 years, because you're not going to wait till last minute. Yet everybody does. She's bailed you out probably. So our dear friend Shannon, as she's going through this and obviously up against it and won't be able to work in the way in which she does, we wanted to support her there. So you can go to the Venmo and use that QR code. It's in all of the banners. Or if you just want to go into your Venmo account right now, you can open that up and just go at KWCLM. And obviously in the notes, just put Rally for Shannon, and we'll know where it goes because everything going there right now. We don't use Venmo a lot. We don't have a lot of people paying us with Venmo. We use Cash App because we're that dicey. I'm just kidding. So Venmo right now is where we are funneling our funds so we can make sure that we're making a concerted effort to help our dear friend Shannon. Awesome. So if you can get involved, great. No bit of help is too small. So we appreciate everything that everyone's able to do. Our schedule for today, it is a Monday. We're into it with the Breakthrough Club. Breakthrough Club runs every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. Every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. You can go into the Zoom room. And it's really just our spot for lead generation. That's where we make sure we're having the conversations that we need to have. I've been talking to so many of you, as I always do, and I'm hearing so many different stories about what this market is. So many different stories about what this market is, which is fascinating. And also at the same time, I've been around these streets long enough to understand that that makes perfect sense too. There is no one single market that's going to make sense for everyone because of people's perception. And people's perception is based on their perspective. And those two things are wildly different. Your perspective is based on your perception. Your perception is based on what you're exposing yourself to. Who are you surrounding yourself with? What content and what headlines and what data are you consuming? And what noise are you letting in? Which is also very fascinating. The fact that people are choosing to be in this industry and then choose to sit and just complain about what this industry doesn't provide for them. And we have to remember, we are the lifeblood of this industry. We're the reason it goes. We're the reason this thing happens. If nobody went to another kitchen table, we'd have no new listings. So this feeling or I guess perception that we can sit with our buyers and wait for a listing to come on, that listing isn't just coming on. That listing is coming on because somebody else went and did their job. And Brady Sondell talked about this a while ago in the luxury conversation. And he was sitting with some clients and they were amazed at the conversation and the perspective that Brady had, as opposed to the conversations and perspective they were getting from other agents. And we say what we always say, and Brady said it, everyone runs their business differently, because that's the polite way to say we're not all equal, which is widely true. Sounds less judgy. What will we do today to make sure that we are building a perspective of positivity, of abundance, of opportunity? Even if the house your client is looking for isn't built yet, can it be built? Yes. When your clients ask you, can X, Y, or Z be done? And usually they're not asking for stuff outside the bounds of the law. Hey, would we be able to do X or Y or Z, Timmy? I would always turn and be like, we can do anything you want. And then we can discuss the price, right? So I would always say to my buyers when they were looking and we seemed to be sort of up against it and hitting a wall and having a conversation about this property that was almost fairy tale. And I remember distinctly, I had this one young couple and everything we went into, she would find something that was challenging. And it got to the point where time and time and time again, she was just like, these floors seem scuffed. These floors seem scuffed. And I'm just like, and I'm gonna use fake names here to protect the innocent. Casey, the floors aren't scuffed. The floors are lived in. Like every house we've looked at has a family living in it. And I finally said to her, I said, I am convinced you guys are going to buy new construction. I am convinced you want to, and people love doing this on unboxing videos, the sound of peeling the plastic off. Like when you get a brand new iPhone and you peel the front off and you're like, oh, I knew that's what they wanted. And she's like, no, Timmy, that's not what I want. But everything that she had that was a conditional or aesthetic objective or objection, I should say, it was just clear she wanted something new. And we finally got to the point where they finally decided on a house. And I'll let you guess. It was new. And it was with my dear friend Nina Fee at the time, who wasn't playing here yet. We're so glad she's here now. It was over in Exeter, a little bungalow. Who'd have thunk? I was being remarkably honest with them. I didn't know exactly what they wanted, but I knew what she'd been very clear about what she didn't want. So I would start to pepper in new construction, plans for to be builts. And we were going outside their price point a little bit, outside their desired price point. I knew they had the ability to spend X amount of dollars, but they were saying that they wanted to stay in the safety net. And I'm like, well, I understand that. And you have the ability to spend this, and this is what you truly want. And within 17 seconds of walking into that property, she's like, yup. And that happened because I was listening. And I was listening because I had the scripts beat into me. I'm going to die on the hill that the reason scripts are so important is because when we are well scripted, when we understand that they are just questions that we keep asking to stay curious, to find out more, to continue to peel the onion. When I ask another question and another question and another question, and I keep getting information, and it allows them to keep talking. There's no need to make sure that, oh my God, I got to make sure I'm prepared for their next objection. Their next objection is simply a concern, and it's continuing the opportunity for us to serve them. And we serve them by staying curious and continuing to find out, well, what will that do for you? And why would that be important? What would that allow you to do? And they uncover layers and chapters and verse of their own motivation. That's why we do what we do. That's why we stay curious. That's why we understand our conversation blueprints. And if you look at conversation blueprints, if you look at scripts, dirty word, I know, everybody calm down. If you look at scripts, they are questions. The back of my gravestone, there'll be 3 bullet points. Say it with me. Ask great questions, take great notes, have honest conversations. And people push back and say, well, what's a great question, Timmy? The next one. Don't overthink it. They're not sitting there coming up with objections to play a gotcha game. They're coming up with objections because they're trying to slow things down because they're fearful. And we can understand that. We were there too. If you've bought or sold a home, or when you were getting started in real estate, if you've been taking, and we've done 2 sessions, we're going to start the next one the first week of August. If you've been jumping into Breakthrough 120, Gary went and studied fear. Gary spent over a year studying fear. And we talk about it a lot in Breakthrough 120, about rational and irrational fear. Rational fear, I'm afraid I won't be able to answer the questions of my clients. Irrational fear, I'm afraid of sharks, I'm not going to get in the pool. Both valid, because it's how you feel. So when they feel fearful, it's our job to keep asking questions and let them self-discover what's important. You will never have a client buy, sell, invest, or join your company until it's appropriate for them. And we help them self-discover what's important and appropriate for them by asking questions, by letting them bring it to speech. And we do that by having conversations with them where we can deliver the words we choose, the passion and tonality in which we deliver those words, and our body language. Logic makes them think, emotion makes them act. Nobody's ever walked onto a car lot and read the sticker with all the logical information, sometimes illogical information, and be like, that's it. You're going to have a conversation with somebody. You're going to find out more. They're going to find out more about you. They might steer you in a different direction because they know based on what you said, that's not the right vehicle for you. You're going to get to a point in your career, and you probably already have, where you've helped a client unchoose a property. Because you reminded them they're in charge. And the power of being in control of the conversation allows you to hit the gas or the brake and pull away from fear and step into presence. And when we can do that, time and time and time again with consumers and clients and the people that we know and love and trust, that builds a legacy. That builds the I'm going to work with them. Well, what is it about working with Timmy? What is it about working with Abby? What is it about working with Shannon? And the best answer will be, can't really explain it. You just have to see for yourself, which is true. Because one person's perspective on what they pulled away from the interaction with you will not be another's. Everyone has their own perspective through their life and their trials and their understanding and their programming. We can all be looking at the same news story. We can all be looking at the same scoreboard. We could all be at the same athletic event. We could all be at the same keynote speaker, and we're going to hear different things. Because of neural blockers and neural pathways that are open or closed. It's our job to keep asking questions, to maybe build that bridge and allow people to ask of themselves, what do I see? How do I feel? And what is my logical next step? That's why we do what we do. That can happen during Breakthrough Club at 11 o'clock, KW Productivity Huddle. It's basically, this is the Texas Productivity Huddle based on Breakthrough 120. So at 11 o'clock, you can register there for that. It is a national Zoom with Texas, and they'll be talking about what's important about Breakthrough 120. They'll be talking about what's important about doing our lead generation, why this class now exists. So register for that. Join that conversation. At 12 o'clock, we'll get together and do our midday protocol here locally. And that'll be in the breakthrough room. KWBreakthroughClub.com. We'll have that conversation at 12 o'clock. How many conversations or interactions have you had? How many appointments did you set? How many agreements did you get signed? There's our pipeline. That shows us where we are in relationship to our goals. At 12:30 here in person in Portsmouth, database to data bank with Homekeeper and KW Moves. At 1:30, the Jason Westcott, Ask the Broker. That's on the Zoom at kellertv.com. At 2:30, Tech Your Business to the Next Level with Maggie McDowell, our regional tech trainer. You can register for that conversation in the morning news. And then right behind that at 3 o'clock, 25 and 26, with Agent 365, our dear friend Tiffany Hampton. And that conversation at 3, you can register for that in the morning news. If I can help with anything, if I can help you understand the power you have in asking questions to help people move from fear to their next logical step, right? Fearful to fearless. Let me know. 603-834-2856. You can also book my face at meetwithcoach.com. We'll see you in and around the market center and the internet. Take care.